Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Tomb Raider 2018 movie. I can't believe I've never seen this movie yet. I've been wanting to see this movie for a very long time. And of course, I don't go to the theater no more and everything. And so, normally I just watch things on streaming. But I completely forgot about this movie because there's been no buzz since this movie until Amazon said they're gonna make their own series. And the reason why there's been no buzz on this movie and no sequel is because this movie didn't do too well at the box office, and many people didn't really like this movie. So I was curious to know why this movie didn't do so well, because so many people, including myself, love the first movie with Angelina Jolie all the way back in either 2000 or 2001. And after watching this movie, it's not particularly good. So here's the thing. It's not a bad, terrible movie at all. It's just a bad Tomb Raider movie and stuff. That's the major problem. And even though it's not a terrible, horrible movie, it's very inconsistent with one thing and one thing only: the main character and stuff. There's no real fun with this movie. No, it's an action adventure movie. And it's actually based on the Tomb Raider 2013 video game. And so, with this movie, this is taking from the newer video game where they change Laura's appearance, the way she operates and everything. The way she dresses, her not really having her side pieces and stuff. And I know a lot of fans of the video game was very upset when they redesigned the entire franchise and stuff. They missed the over exaggerated huge boobs that Laura used to have. They missed her guns. They missed her old outfit and everything. They missed the sexy vibe to her. And they also missed the just a lot of other stuff that with the game. And then so with the movie, I remember with the original movie, I was obsessed with this movie before I ever saw it. I was in college my first year, and I remember I saw the trailers and stuff back when I was in high school. And so I just man, I really want to see this movie so bad. It looks so cool, and I don't know who this Angelina Jolie woman is, but everything just looks so cool. And so I was obsessed, man. When this poster company came to my school, I bought these ginormous posters, 2 of them, for $18 each, and I still have them till this day. That's how obsessed I was with this movie. Then I saw the movie on VHS, and I loved it and everything. The original first movie is just so much fun and everything. You can tell it's an early 2000s movie. And so cause they're just so bonkers and stuff. The music, the action, the comedy, the stars and stuff, and Angelina Jolie really did look like her video game counterpart, even with those giant fake boobs on her and stuff. And but this newer movie, it just doesn't compare to it. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It's there's no fun aspect to it. There's no big here's the thing, right? The one thing about the first movie is that wherever they went, they had these big exotic locations. Here they have more dingier, dirty locations and poorer locations and stuff. And that's not fun. You want to see extravagant type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Now, the new Tomb Raider, Alicia Vikander, Vikander, she's cool. I like her, you know what I'm saying? She kind of looks like her new video game counterpart. She does a good job acting. My only problem with her is that she looks really young and baby face. But like in her face wise, she doesn't look like she could take care of herself in a fight. But body wise, she does. My problem with this entire movie is like one, the set locations, you know, they're not extravagant. Like they're more the poor, dingier, like ruskier, locations. Then there is the character of the lead actress herself. It's not the actress, it's just the character. The character is very inconsistent. Like, because this is her first expedition and everything, like just like in the video game, my problem with her is that they try to make her all flashy in the first part of the movie by with the whole bike scene and everything. But other than that, you can tell she can't take care of herself. She can't fight she can't win a fight. She's not all that smart to figure out all this Tomb Raidery type stuff, all this relic hunter type stuff. And yeah, all of a sudden, when she's in this movie, like there are times where she's terrified and afraid and can't even handle like a small little like street gang of teenage boys. But then all of a sudden, she's bouncing around all this stuff in the tomb. And then all of a sudden she's scared again, but then all of a sudden she's brave again and she can do this and she can do that. And it's like, make up your minds. Either she's inexperienced or she's very experienced. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, it's almost like, they want to make her this rookie type person, but they also have to make her appealing because it's kind of like, why would you want to see somebody constantly fail? And then they go for like that strong warrior type vibe. And it's just like, be consistent, man. Like, which way are you going to go with this character? And so I do like how she has flaws, because even the original one had flaws, but the original one could still take care of herself. Like, the thing about the original one is that she could beat a group of like soldier type men. She can dodge a bunch of this and that. But no matter what, she always will fail. They will always get the relic she's looking for, and she'll have to steal it back. Then they'll steal it back from her. And then, it takes her a good while to beat everybody and everything. But with here, it's just like she's either super, super afraid, and then all of a sudden she gets courage, and then she's super afraid again, and then she gets courage again. Also, a problem I'm having with this character, she seems to have a superpower of luck. Everything that happens to her in this movie is by pure luck. Like, her getting arrested, then her getting bailed out by this certain person. Then her going home and mysteriously finding this, secret compartment inside, like, her family's tomb. Then her finding her dad's video. Then her happen to find the man that sailed him over to this island and everything. And it's like, then surviving like, a wreck, then ending up on the island and being impaled in the stomach by the wreckage debris, pulling it out, yet you don't see no blood ever come out of it. So, and she never dresses her wound. And she never cleans it with anything, so it's getting infected, but yet you see no blood gushing out. Then she gets into a fight with this strange man in the mud, getting more infected in the wound. And how is she able to fight? And she has this huge wound in her. And then all of a sudden, that strange man happens to be her long lost father, who she thought was dead at first. And he dresses her wound, but doesn't disinfect it with nothing. Then all of a sudden, she's doing all this Tomb Raider type stuff and fighting and jumping and swinging while she's supposed to be very fatally wounded and everything. And then, she happens to find, the bad people who are looking for her father, and just happens to find, the entrance to the place, and happens to figure out what the Relic does, and happens to run across this like bridge of a ladder that's supposed to be so raggedy that you have to go on it one at a time, really slow. But yet she's able just to run and leap on it and swing off it and then fight some dude. And it's like everything falls in her lap. And it's just like, but she doesn't do much effort to do relic hunter type stuff because she's inexperienced. Because she's never been on an expedition before. And it's just so unbelievable. And then there's the whole gunfight with the bow and arrow. Yeah, I know she uses a bow and arrow in the video game. And I'm glad they showed her using one as a little kid to practice with it. To show that she's really good with it. But I'm sorry, there's no way you're gonna be able to fight a person off who have like AK-47s and machine guns, and you just have a rinky-dink bow and arrow. That's not possible. You're no Hawkeye or Green Arrow. This ain't a comic book. Stuff, And it's like, oh, I hate when you have somebody with a machine gun and they're shooting at like multiple targets that are moving very slow, but they don't hit nobody. But yet a man with a regular handgun is able to shoot people. That don't make no sense. And I know it's a video game and a fantasy one at that, but here's the problem. The movie itself is very realistic. At no point in time in this movie did I ever think there was like a supernatural element until that supernatural element happened to happen at the very, very end. And I'm just kind of like, that just takes all the fun away. The thing about Tomb Raider is you want to see that fantasy stuff. You want to see that supernatural type stuff with the relics, and you don't. That was what was so fun about the first one. I mean, heck, even there was a TV show I once reviewed called Relic Hunter. And in the first couple of seasons, there really wasn't no supernatural stuff, but then they started adding it in the last season. But even that show was still a million times better than this because it was fun and exciting and there was like humor and stuff like that. But here, everything is just kind of dry. And so with my major problem, even if they were to take away, like even though they would never have no supernatural element in here, if they were, it's just the character, the lead character herself, that's annoying and everything. It's like, either she's afraid or she's super tough all of a sudden. Then she's afraid again and stuff just falls on her lap and things just happens and stuff. And the lack of like emotion, like between her and her father, like when they were about to say goodbye to each other, both of them was like about to tear up, or they were tearing up, but no tears came out of neither one of them. And it's just kind of like, you can show emotion in your movies, modern day movies, you can have the waterworks, make it feel believable that they actually love and care about each other and they have to say goodbye to each other. That's not hard. And also something that didn't make no sense. If the relic is Japanese and in Japanese, international waters and stuff on an island, then why did they have to go all the way to China and get like a boat? That don't make no sense. But then I thought to myself, oh wait, it's because of the Chinese box office and everything. It's like that makes up half of American box office. And even when a movie does bad, sometimes they're able to recoup their earnings and stuff overseas. And this was around the time in Hollywood where they kept inserting Chinese references or Chinese characters, or have to go to China for whatever reason and then leave China and stuff like that. That happened to a lot of movies around this time. I remember it'd be like, there'll be like a British movie or an American movie set in America or British. Then they'll fly all the way to China just for like information or something like that, or grab one person and then they head to whatever country they have to go to. That started to happen like a lot in American movies and stuff. I remember people kept talking about that. And so the person they grabbed the boat dude, I remember him. He played Sonny. Daniel Wu played Sonny in Into the Badlands, a great show on AMZ if you never seen it before. AMC, with The Walking Dead and stuff be at. And then that one dude at the pawn shop, um, Nick Frost, he was also in Into the Badlands with Daniel and stuff. He was in season 2 and 3. I didn't like his character in season 2 and 3. Anyway. And so, this movie had a budget of like 90 to 106 million and only made 274 million, but it wasn't able to break even. And so, Warner Brothers, they just lost the rights after a while, because here's the craziest thing, right? They were supposed to make a sequel. And Vikander was supposed to return, but then it got let's see, okay, Warner Bros. The one who pushed this movie out, but it was MGM who had the rights, and so she was supposed to return for like a sequel because they were setting up for a sequel, but then they lost the rights and everything. Also, I heard at one point in time she just didn't want to come back. And so eventually they lost the rights, and that was that. And now Amazon has it for like a TV series. I hope they make the TV series more like Tomb Raider. That would be great. But the movie, it's weird. It's like, okay, so you have Lara Croft, right? But she doesn't want her inheritance. Instead, she wants to struggle, be a poor person, and be a bike carrier. Why? If you're dirt poor and you have a mansion and millions of dollars and all kinds of stuff, why the heck wouldn't you live there and everything's paid off? Like, they're trying to show she's just like everybody else, but that's the thing. Lara Croft is not like everybody else. Like, even in the original one, she was wealthy. She knew she had her wealth. She used her wealth, but she would still eat like TV dinners and stuff to show that she's just like everybody else. Or even though she has her wealth and does all this cool stuff, she's willing to act kind of sympathetic and not so much act like a poor person, but just have it's weird. She has this adventurous lifestyle, but she's really sad and depressed because she doesn't have her father. And it just causes her to not have too many friends other than the people who work for her and stuff like that, And so, but that original movie was just so much better, man. But anyway, so after she does the bike courier stuff, she's racing with her friends and all this. And this is to show she has an adventurous streak, you know what I'm saying? But it's so elaborate, her and all them racing through the streets. It's kind of it don't feel real. And how she's able to on her bike, hop on the back of a truck with no thrust. It's unbelievable. It's she's too skinny to do this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she got muscles in her arm, but she's too lean and skinny to be on a bike and just hop up a little bit on a truck, then hop off it without any real force is unbelievable. And so, she gets arrested and this and that. But before that, they actually showed her either kickboxing or doing MMA and everything. And she got her butt kicked because she's just not no skilled fighter. And who the heck wants to see a Lara Croft who can't fight? You know what I'm saying? And so, but then it's kind of weird that a bike carrier would be an MMA fighter. But here's the thing, in the video game, she was never a bike carrier and stuff. So anyway, she gets bailed out by that one lady. And one lady's accept your inheritance, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no. So anyway, she goes to her dad's home, and she's down in the tomb area where they have all the dead bodies and stuff. And all of a sudden, she just puts her hand on her dad's tomb, and she feels that one of the letters feels different. So she pushes it in. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty lucky that she just went down there and pressed a button in the leather, and all of a sudden the key comes out. Now the dumb thing about the key is that it comes halfway out. You pull it out, you see it's a key, so you have to put it back in and twist. Why do you have to pull it out? Why couldn't you just like twist and everything, you know? Once you touch it and see it jiggles, you know it's gonna twist. This movie. They're trying to make her be so smart. But I don't understand how she's this smart. Her dad might have taught her a little bit, but like she doesn't seem capable of figuring things out when it comes to relics like the original Tomb Raider. The original Tomb Raider had tons of books. She researched stuff. She went on expeditions. Her dad taught her a lot of stuff. This one just seems like a rinky-dink regular person who just happens to figure stuff out. So she watches the video of her father. She doesn't burn like the papers like he said. And so she heads to China where she goes to find a boat. And this is where she doesn't speak the language. She can't find nobody to help her find this specific boat. And then all of a sudden the street gang comes up and they steal her book bag and she chases them. And when she chases them and finally, you know, is able to like defeat them, she finds the boat she's happened to look for and the man she's happening to look for. So he has to save her by shooting off a couple of rounds and stuff. And it's just kind of like everything just happens to fall in her lap. So this is the character played by Daniel Wu and everything. And so like apparently he has beef with Walter Goggins' character, Matthias Vogel and stuff, and so that just happened to be so convenient, you know what I'm saying? And so they are on the boat. I do like the boat wreckage and everything. That was really cool. But how the heck they were both able to survive, I don't understand. And also, why add this character of Daniel Wu if he's just gonna get captured for the rest of the movie and not really be a part of it and not really help her out? Like, you know what I'm saying? At least when Daniel Craig's character in the first one, Adam West, showed up, he actually helped her out. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, like I said before, she gets hurt, she pulls out her thing, she don't bleed, she fights, rolls in the mud, and that's supposed to be believable? I don't think so. She couldn't even fight that street gang because she was terrified, especially when the dude pulled a knife on her and stuff. It's like she's not a believable hero because she's scared all the time. So then after she finds her dad, you know, they found like the bad guys and everything. And the bad guy, you know, Vogel telling, you know, like, I work for this one lady. And you can kind of tell who that lady probably was because there's only really one other lady in this movie. And so, like, he can't leave the island until he gets the relic and all this other stuff. And, you know, will you help me? So then when he threatens her father and everything, after she frees the other people and that stupid shootout with the bow and arrow and stuff, you know, she agrees to help this dude. You know what I'm saying? Now, the one thing I will say, I do like this villain a whole lot more than the first villain. The first villain in the first movie was too charming and he never seemed scary enough. This dude seems legit scary. So they do the Tomb Raider thing. They go inside the tomb. The floor caves in. She has to figure out, you know, the key pattern and stuff like that. I don't know how she figured that all out because she doesn't do no Tomb Raider type stuff. So how the heck, and she doesn't seem that smart. So how the heck was she able to figure it out? Heck if I know. But anyway, the floor collapses. They make their way through on the suspension bridge of the ladder. And so, like, they find the tomb. And inside is Himiko. And apparently this Himiko, like, legend type thing, in this version, is like some type of zombie virus and everything. So we get our supernatural stuff. It's too dangerous to release. He doesn't care. He takes a finger. You know, a more fight happens, and then her dad gets infected, and then he dies, and now all of a sudden she has the strength to fight like whoever she has to fight. So she's running, she leaps on the suspension bridge, which she could have, like, that's another thing, when she falls all the time, she's able to always catch herself on something with just her hand. And there's one scene in the movie where she literally climbs up like a wall. And it's like, how? We've never seen her rock climb before. We've never seen her do any of this stuff. And she's doing it by hand with no tools. And it's just kind of like, I don't believe this Tomb Raider. This is her first time doing anything like this. Sorry, my camera died. But like, how's she able to do all this stuff all of a sudden if she's never done none of this crap before? And at least they made the point to show that, she knows MMA. So when she fights this dude, all of a sudden she can beat him and everything. And so she's more motivated, even though she's still wounded and everything. And so she takes the finger, puts it in his mouth. He's infected. She kills him and everything. And then the whole place collapses. And she's able to leap nearly 20 feet away and snag onto like the collapsing like floor and then climb up it really fast. It's cool to watch and it's exciting to watch, but it's too unbelievable to watch. And when this movie's supposed to be rooted in realism, that just doesn't seem realistic. Like, she's just climbing up that thing like Spider-Man, and I'm just kind of like, I just don't believe it, man. It's like, I just don't believe that. Like, it's cool to look at, but it's so unbelievable. And of course, it's Hollywood, so there's like debris falling from like the ceiling, and she's able to like dodge every single last one of them. That's so old school Hollywood and everything. At least in the Angelina Jolie one, like I said before, it was more fun and everything. Like when she escaped by like dog sledding and everything, but with no skis. She just had her feet, because the director said that's something Lara Croft would do. Just like when she punched that shark in the second movie, that's something unbelievable she would do, because that's how the video games were and stuff. And so the dude on the boat, who doesn't know her at all, other than like taking her to this island, when he's with the other people, they're finally now free, and it's just kind of like they could leave, but he's all like, no, I'm staying, I'm gonna get her and everything, and I'm going back for her. Like, why is all of a sudden he so like wanting to help this stranger out? You know what I'm saying? He's not even the love interest. Like in the first movie, like he wants like to help her and risk his life, and he could help free those people and try to get help off the island, but instead he wants to go into a cave and risk life and limb with the rest of those other people to save a person he barely knows. And it just doesn't make no sense. They're not friends. He didn't help her out. I mean, she didn't help him out. Yeah, Walter Goggins' character killed his father, but he never got revenge on the dude or nothing like that. And it's barely brought up. And it's just, he's literally only there to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no real significance with him. And so then she heads back home, and she finally, gets her inheritance, and she lets the lady run the company, only to somehow miraculously figure out that this woman actually works for the company that Walter Goggins was hired from, And so then she's going to set on her next expedition to like take that organization down. And this organization is barely mentioned in the movie. At least in the first movie, they're actually there and they have a presence and you're worried over about them and everything. Here it's just like, oh, they're in the shadows type thing, and I don't. It's just not no fun movie and stuff. So like, I see why now this did not get like a sequel. It could have if the character was written better. If she was written to be capable of doing stuff. If she was written to be like show how she's so smart and everything, and it would help. You know what I'm saying? If they would have had more elaborate set pieces, if they would show a more realistic way of how she gets out of the tomb and everything, and like, I'm sorry, like you expect me to believe she can get out of that tomb and it's collapsing, all because she's a bike courier and she rips through the streets and everything, and it's just an elaborate kind of way. That's not believable and everything. Like, there's nothing believable in this movie, and it's supposed to be rooted in realism, to be a more realistic take on it. And I'd rather watch Relic Hunter than watch this again, you know what I'm saying? And I felt bad because this was a movie of a lifetime for that one actress. Alicia. But you know, she's been in tons of movies before and since this, so it did not hurt her career. Thank God for that. You know what I'm saying? But like, it should have been more better. But you know, it's just another reboot and everything, and that totally sucks. Like, these reboot movies just don't do well. Now, the actor, Daniel, his career has kind of like, you know, slowed down since doing this. Because before he did this, oh man, he was in tons of movies, mostly Chinese movies and stuff. But like I said, he had that one American television show that was really, really good. And so sadly, this movie didn't do him like no favors and stuff. And then his show was canceled 1 year after this. And he was technically in another show on Disney Plus called American Born Chinese. But of course, that got canceled after one season. I didn't even know he was the Monkey King in that. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.